Friends, let's talk about an adrenal crisis. The National Adrenal Diseases Foundation, along with 3 friends of NADF who have Addison's disease, share their stories here about going through an adrenal crisis. So, what exactly is an adrenal crisis? It is the result of an extreme physical or emotional stress that does not get the necessary steroid coverage to meet that stress. A potentially life-threatening medical emergency, an adrenal crisis requires management in a hospital or emergency department. Typical symptoms are severe drop in blood pressure causing dizziness, lightheadedness, and possibly loss of consciousness, nausea and vomiting, confusion and lethargy, muscle weakness, cramps, headache. What does it feel like to go into a crisis?
I kind of get this black tunnel vision. I get really, really hot. I start to sweat like crazy. And then I just kind of feel like my body goes numb, and that's kind of when everything turns black for me.
Felt like I was going to pass out. And with that fatigue came incredible, just immense nausea, to the point where I was throwing up, 12, 13 times a day. As well as just like these crazy heart palpitations. Like I literally felt like my heart was going to explode or beat out of my chest. It felt like it was just like beating at such an irregular beat that I felt like at any moment that beat could be the last beat and I'm gonna die right here in this parking lot.
I become comatose and I'm not even aware of what's going on once I go into this. So updosing, if I don't do it right away, then it just doesn't happen. The last time I had a crisis, I had thrown up and had diarrhea, and that seems to be the worst for me, is to the throwing up part. And if I don't get a dosage, stress dose of corticosteroids before that, then I go into this coma.
What caused the adrenal crisis?
I got 12 vials of blood drawn all at once. Seems like a lot for me. And I, got up from sitting up from the chair, and I just felt kind of off, but I was like, it was a lot of blood. I just need a minute. So I walked out, started walking out the entrance, and started to get that crazy feeling of tunnel vision, blacking out, fell and collapsed on the tile.
I've only experienced one adrenal crisis, and that was the one that sent me into the emergency room where I was initially diagnosed. Thankfully, I haven't experienced a crisis since then, and I really hope that I won't.
Been throwing up and get dehydrated to the point that I go into basically a coma.
How long does it take to give an injection?
I actually have never done it. When I actually passed out the one time, it was right when I got diagnosed, so I actually didn't have my emergency injection with me, which you should have it with you at all times. But I just didn't get the prescription because it was just all so new.
But that's probably the scariest part is, wherever you are, especially me as an active individual, I find myself kind of away from medical care for the most part a decent amount of time. So I always have to really make sure that the people around me know, hey, this is where my injection kit is. This is when I need it. If I'm unconscious, if this, you need to inject me in this location. So that's like probably one of the hardest parts is managing, that emergency use situation.
I'm incapacitated so quickly that I've never been able to get this to happen. And like I said, the other part is that I am so out of it. I don't think I could find it, pull out the needle, open up and make it all, I just don't think it's going to happen.
What could make this all easier?
If it were some sort of Epipen kind of form, I think that it would be a lot easier and a lot less stressful, just knowing that, if you told someone while you're starting to black out or faint, saying, hey, like, if I'm totally blacked out, you got to give me this, it'd be a lot easier than trying to, try to make them a nurse in the matter of, 20 seconds. And, you're fainting at the same time.
They could figure out a way to create a syringe that already has the cortisone and the saline in there, and maybe all you have to do is like push a plunger to mix it all together and then straight up inject yourself, like they have with like Epipens and stuff. They're just ready to go, stick it in there and you're good to go, instead of having two separate contraptions to where, what if I lost my needle and I had this? When am I gonna drink it? I'm not gonna drink that. So yeah, if there was a way to fuse the two together, so you'd have your syringe ready to go, and that's all you need. You can just carry that with you, so that if you need an emergency injection, boom, you got it.
It would be a lot easier if we had an EpiPen type environment where I could just realize I'm going bad, quick go get it, jab it in my thigh, and then start to recover. Because as it is right now, when I'm going into one of these, I just don't see that I'm ever going to get that current situation where we have the shot and the medicine and putting it together and then giving it to myself. Just not going to happen.
We sincerely hope you've never had, nor will you ever have, an adrenal crisis. If you have experienced an adrenal crisis, please share your story with us. Many of us would agree that an auto-injection device would change and likely save lives. We believe having an auto-injection method will become a reality in the not-so-distant future. Work is already underway to create a device like this for an adrenal crisis. In the meantime, NADF offers excellent information and tutorials on how to give an intramuscular injection using the ActiveVial system, as well as identify an adrenal crisis. To learn more about how to prevent and care for an adrenal crisis, look for NADF's website, www.nadf.us, or write to us at nadfsupport@nadf.us.